the ways to receive targeted jobs is by using a job seeker-friendly job title or job description. Now, this is according to Indeed research editorial team who focuses more on work, recruitment, and HR when it comes to the insights about these. Well, interestingly, today on the show, we will be dissecting and talking about two interrelated topics when it comes to job. I'm talking about job title and, of course, job description. Welcome to the show. This is Certification Insights. My name is Bamidele Vivian Osagi. We'll be back after this.
A global certification in human resources will prepare you for global opportunities and land you your dream job. For over a decade now, we have been training successful candidates. So if you must pass your global exams at first try, this is the right place. Interestingly, you pay for one and get 2 extra courses for free. This class is for those who want to jumpstart their HR career and want to do it now. Just do it.
Welcome back to Certification Insights. My name is Bamidele Vivian Osagi. So today on the show, like we said just before the break, we will be looking at two interrelated topics when it comes to job. We're talking about job title and, of course, job description. Who better than my guest today on the show? He is none other than Ajibola Bamidele. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Good.
Looking good in red, by the way.
Thank you very much.
That's the color, yeah? It stands out all the time. Okay, so, when
it speaks power.
It speaks power.
Red speaks power.
Okay, now I like that. I think that's what I'm going to say now every time. If you see me in red, remember, it speaks power. Coming straight from Ajibola Bamidele himself. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So, when we talk about job description and job title, is there a way we can just break this down so to have clarity more on which is which?
Okay, so when we talk about, let me start by talking about job description. We can simply define it as your task, your duties, your responsibilities. But majorly is the task, duties, responsibilities of a particular position. It's not a person. So most times it's the position that we're writing for, because it's a position that must align with the company's goals. So the individual occupying that position. So it's different. When we talk about job description, it's about the position. But when you look at job title, it's what we've named that position for clarity, for us to be able to identify, and maybe for better communication within the organization.
Okay.
So we can name it anything that we understand. But most times people try to name it alongside the job description.
Okay.
Which it might not be. They can call you
a manager.
Or no, they can call you, let's say, head of sales.
Okay.
And some of your functions, also task you're meant to do, is to probably send mails or respond to customers or relate to customers or should I say attend board meetings. That's part of your job. You should represent the company at board meetings. But some people will say, why can the sales manager be doing this? It depends on the company you work.
Okay.
And some might call you the branch manager or head of operations, and they're telling you that you should reach out to customers and market them. And I wonder, why should head of operations be marketing? They've designed jobs, and it depends on what they've put, they've written out the list of tasks that the company has, are able to put into that job that determines what they will measure.
To give you the title.
Now, title is just there. It's just that we must just name it a title. And we try to make sure title look like what the person is doing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. They might call you consultant. And what you are doing in that company is to restructure, to look at management. I might be consultant, and what we are doing is to do audits. So, but the title, so most people always, they have a struggle with saying, if they're giving me this title, why should this be my job?
Job description.
The most important thing is the job description.
Okay.
And the job description is not about the job occupant, the person that have been hired into about the job. It's about the company's goals, what the company wants to achieve. So they put it in the position. So the organization is looking for someone that can do those things so that the company achieves its goals. So we must try to separate the job title and the job position, because the job description is speaking to the job position, not the person. I don't know what I'm clear.
See, all I could hear is job title, job position, job description. This is where a lot of people try to get it right when they're looking for jobs. Because they always seek out the job title, always seek out the job description as well.
They don't even check out the job description. It's the title. So this title is what I'm looking for. And that's not what matters. It is the description that matters.
True that.
Not the title.
But then again, another question I would really like to ask is, does the job description determine the pay?
Of course, because if this position, let's say for example, a nanny and a cleaner at home.
Yeah.
So you have, you got an house, maybe a house help, that one will be taking care of the baby and one will be cleaning the house. Of course, people will want to pay the person that takes care of the baby, or one of the JD of the person taking care of the baby is also to help them with their assignment, schoolwork.
Feed them sometimes.
Feed them. Schoolwork becomes more technical because someone that can feed, someone that can take care of them might not be able to teach them. So now, if you cannot get a nanny that can feed them, that can take care of them, and that can now teach them, that person's fee will be different from a nanny that all you can do is to clean.
Just clean the house.
So don't say, but we are both nannies. No, our job description and what we're doing differs. And people pay you for how rich what you're doing is, not the title.
Thank you very much for that. So what about in a case where the job description changes? Does this affect the pay as well?
Honestly, this is a very contextual question. Number one, it depends on the life cycle of the company. And what you guys are doing and how they can afford, what they can afford. And let's say, for example, you've been doing things that machines can do before.
Okay.
And now the company is investing in technology. They're going to replace you because they don't need you again, because doing that thing, they don't need humans to do it again. They need machines to do it. So they're changing your job. Now, they're changing your job to what humans should do. Like thinking, critical reasoning, not reminding customers. Technology should do that. So you've been doing things like, man, I remind like 100 customers a day, but it's because of not the technology. Now, they're telling you to go and innovate. So now, instead of what they're trying to do is to create another job for you. So that job had disappeared. So sometimes when they see you're a very good employee, they might, and they don't want to lay you off, they create another job, and that job should be, but normally if we have replaced, we've invested in technology, then we should take out that job. And that means your job has disappeared. Your former position is no longer in existence. Then we've hired technology to do it. So in that case, when they change your job, then it can also lead to taking you out of the company because they've given technology. But if they feel now that they're giving you more innovative, more things that demand, the use of your mind, or they've given you an enriched job, they might decide to increase your pay. That is if they can afford it.
So it's based on the company's decision.
Affordability.
Okay.
If they cannot afford it, there's nothing you can do. And that's why people get a bit angry. Why they say, but if they cannot afford it, what they will do if you're angry, they will let you go and get someone that won't be angry.
It happens a lot, you know, in work environments where some people complain and be like, oh, you people changed my JD or you changed my work and all that and added this and that rule. So they always want to expect more money for the new setting changes that are made. But I like the clarity you've brought to this.
Okay, let me give you an example. Now, who should be cleaning the floor?
The cleaner, the janitor.
Wait. A company that has only 2 people and they are just in the office, they will tell, let us clean before we sit down. Because we're only 2.
Yeah.
So imagine you now come to me and say, can you imagine that company that won't clean it? I ask you first, how many are you guys? 2. Okay, who should now clean your table? Should they get a cleaner to clean table when you're only 2? So the more companies expand, the more they can now start defining different roles. So you cannot totally state that they are telling you, if you're working in a startup, you will do some things that normally if you're working in a big corporate, you won't do. That doesn't nullify that what you are hired for is still what you're hired for.
True that.
So these are issues I've seen that people believe that they should get a cleaner. It depends, can they afford it? If they cannot afford it, then we are still the one who were started. We do it together till we can afford it.
Okay, but then again, when the job description changes, does this necessarily mean that the title as well will change?
Okay, so number 1, is it changing? Now, when the JD changes, does not mean title change, because title is just, think about title as anything you can put on it. It's not, we just try to use title for better communication, better internal identification, better, maybe you want to do comparative analysis of your title, maybe you want to compare jobs around different industry. So we're trying to name it similar, but title is not as important as the things you are doing.
Now that you've mentioned important, how important is job description and job title in a workplace?
Excellent. So I take out title away because people like title, because when we look at culture, there's some culture that I title them chief. Even when they're not chief, nothing chief in your life, they're calling him chief. So they say, this person like chief, and they'll be motivated to call him chief, so they call him chief. Okay. So we don't give him chief. So we might not even ask him any question, we might not be making decisions in that community. So when they call him chief, he's happy. So we'll give it depends on what motivates our team. Okay. But when you talk about the importance of job description, so I'm much more about the job description, less about the title. So the job description now, what's the importance? Now, you cannot hire anybody for a position you've not defined what that position should be doing. So we know that we're looking for a staff that can do these things. So if we're interviewing you, we're looking at the job description to determine whether we can hire you. Number 2, we cannot also, we cannot promote you. We cannot even train you, rather, without job description. But we don't know what you are doing. So if we're going for training, what are we training you for?
True.
If there's no job description also, there will be a lot of internal inequity, whereby somebody will say, it's possible that somebody is looking busy and is not doing anything meaningful. So job description makes it clear what this person is responsible for and what I'm responsible for. So if they're paying me more than you, you know that what we're responsible for is totally different. Because companies pay for what you're responsible for. The duties, the job, are your responsibilities. Not, I have BSc too, you have BSc. So I asked somebody in one training, I said, what should we pay graduates? They said, a graduate must earn a minimum of, if you say, graduate doing what? You are asking job description. I said, a graduate cleaning table. You say, 30K now, 40K now. Because minimum wage is 40K, 30K. Okay. A graduate defending the MD. 500,000 now. So we must start.
Position.
We start looking at it's not position. It's what that graduate is doing that determines what get paid, what will pay the graduate. So without job description, there's so much we cannot do in the marriage.
Sure.
We cannot reward, we cannot measure performance. There's so much. So it's tied to, we cannot reward if we don't define job description.
Ajibola Bamidele,
Yeah.
thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. I believe we have as much clarity as we need now when it comes to job description and, of course, the job title. So I'm giving you the Mr. title for today. Or do I take the Mr. off?
Take the Mr.
I should take the Mr.
Yeah.
off. Okay. Ajibola Bamidele,
Thank you.
thank you so much for joining us today on the set here on
welcome.
Certification Insights. We will be calling you sometime soon.
Thank you.
Okay, and it's a wrap for today on the show. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media handles. It's scrolling right there at the bottom of the screen. Till next time again, when we bring you another topical issue in the HR space, stay safe, be kind to one another. My name is Bamidele Viviana Sagi.
Thank you.
Over.
Certification Edge, building cross-border capabilities.